He just started drowning while I was bathing. He fell under the water. He was still in a body bag. Bubbles were coming up. I wanted to see that Indian guy naked.
Okay.
Quintin here. I'm fine, babe.
This is Ethan. Nah, I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll!
Welcome to the Power Up Brothers podcast, where everyone sounds like me, which is bad news for them because my points don't matter.
Oh,
Well,
I had so many points.
No shock.
I know, too bad.
Welcome back,
They sound like
everyone.
me. Welcome back.
After a long hiatus,
It has been.
We always talk about hiatuses. Our audience doesn't know. Our upload schedule is fine.
We don't have
Yeah.
we don't have
Except
an audience.
here's the
No,
thing.
our guy.
Quinn makes a good point after a long
Stevie's
hiatus
out there.
because Devin looks like several shades darker than he was here before.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
Right,
That's
right.
sitting in the sun all day.
Sitting in the
Wow,
sun
and
all
I've gotten
day.
several
Yeah.
shades lighter.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm saying
That's
you
what
two
not sitting in the sun will do to you. Yeah.
Yes. look
yeah.
like a podcast about a Hispanic immigrant and a vampire sit down to discuss video games.
Quinn looks
Yeah.
like Legolas drowned and his weak old dead body
Yeah.
washed up on shore.
Quinn
Right.
looks like the elf that Frodo falls into the swamp.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Harrison, how are you over there at
Oh
producer
yeah,
desk?
producer
I'm doing
Harrison's
fine.
Let me
He's
tell you
been-
something.
this.
Let me tell you
He's been
something.
banned to the 480p corner.
That's right.
Harrison walked in today and I said, bro, you look like you're about to rob the intellectual property of John Hammond.
Yes.
Mhm.
He
It's
is
quite
dressed,
a, it's
he is
quite a
dressed
look.
sharp.
Mhm.
He is dressed to impress, and he is
Yeah.
dressed to steal the DNA of dinosaurs
Yeah.
by
Right.
hiring Nedry to do it for him.
And by steal someone's intellectual property, it means swipe the $10 bill
Mhm.
that I left
Yeah.
exposed in my room,
Right. Correct.
so
Correct.
so that he could buy
That's right.
cigarettes.
Your
Those are
beard.
dinosaurs.
Quinn, how did you know?
I keep close track.
Yeah.
You look like you did something different with your beard, Harrison. Did you do something different with your beard?
I think
No,
we just
not
have
at all.
stylish.
It's just that you forget what people
yeah.
look like when you haven't seen them.
Harrison's
You
just
know that,
stylish, man. It's the shame that
yeah.
he's not sitting over here on the couch.
You know that like evolutionary chart of like the little lizard becoming like a human?
Yeah, right.
That's us with facial hair. Like
Uh-huh.
like it starts with Ethan and then goes to Harrison and then Ty and then Quintin and then like
And then none.
humanity appears finally.
Yes, right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yes.
you got the stick.
Civ-
Here's
civil-
the razor is in your hand.
Civilized man. Look at this.
I can actually shave.
Civilization. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So.
You wouldn't know it from this intro if you're new here, but this is a video game
Yeah,
podcast.
this is a video game
So I
podcast.
want to know, since I've been gone
Unfortunately, yeah.
so long,
Yeah,
what
I
have
don't
you
know.
guys been playing?
Wish you
Bumper.
hadn't asked that question. Couldn't we make this a Gilgamesh podcast? I miss when this was a Gilgamesh podcast.
Gilgamesh from Final Fantasy. Yes, we
Yes.
can. Here we go.
Great in Final Fantasy
Guys,
12.
I've been playing some
Kidu's
video
a
games.
chicken.
I think you guys have been playing video games.
A little bit.
But my video game is more important. You know why?
No, it's not.
Because it's the first... I played the first Switch 2 game that is like... This is a Switch 2 game. I feel like you could not play this anywhere else.
Donkey Kong Banana.
No, no.
Right?
Donkey
Isn't that the
Kong
game?
Banana.
Donkey
No,
Kong
I played.
Banana?
I played the drag and drive game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where
Drag
you
and
use
drive.
the double mouse feature to move your wheelchair and dunk basketballs. Video games really make you say things.
Yeah, when we told Nintendo to start thinking about the disabled,
Yeah.
this is not what we meant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, all Nintendo fans are disabled. My point is that I don't really know what this game is you're talking about,
Yeah,
or why.
It's like a future. It's sort of like Rocket League if it was wheelchair basketball.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
wheelchair
cool.
basketball.
You can.
Rocket League.
I was worried that my holding the Joy-Cons like that would get tiresome because the Joy-Con is not ergonomically sound to just. I mean, it's pretty comfortable to just hold as like a regular controller.
but like doing it like a mouse, it's very thin.
It's very thin. It's not bad, honestly.
Yeah.
Because the thing that you don't realize if you're using a table is you can just let it go. and the Joy-Con just sits there. That's the beauty of it, is
Yeah.
that like when you're holding a controller, ergonomics are so important because like if your hand is at rest, it needs to be comfortable in the controller. But like when I needed to take a break, I was like, I literally just let go of the Joy-Con and it just sits there on the I don't know why I didn't think about that.
I mean, I've had a similar experience. How much did this game cost?
It's $19.99.
It's $19.
Yeah.
So
So
at the Goodwill, I saw a wheelchair for $8.
Just
right?
a wheelchair.
A wheelchair for $8, and the basketball court is free. And so I was like,
But the ball
what if
costs money.
But
no,
you'll
I
never
stole it from a kid.
You'll never
What
find
if
any friends.
I was like, well,
No,
my
you
thought
really
was,
won't.
I was like, what if I
No.
just bought this and then I went to a basketball court and I did what I did. I stole the ball from a kid and he's too weak to fight me, which is a
'Cause
rare
he's
occurrence.
disabled.
He's
He's in a wheelchair.
We got to move on from
The point
Quintin's weird
is
story
that
about
the point
disabled
is
people.
that I just played basketball in a wheelchair, and all I realized is that it's significantly easier,
Yeah, and I
right?
went down-
Because you get to wheel around and you don't have to use your legs,
You
right?
have to use your arms
I went
extensively, which you
down
clearly
to,
maneuver
It's a
on.
it was an electric wheelchair.
Oh, it's electric.
Oh,
You're literally.
So my
So,
point is,
bro,
that
I went down to the construction site and stepped on a bunch of Italian people. I still like to play Super Mario.
Yeah,
every
I
once
still
in a
like-
while.
what Super Mario are you playing?
Yeah, I
where you
know.
step
He's
on
playing
Italian
a
people?
bootleg.
I was gonna
Japanese
say.
one.
He's talking about Goombas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's racist.
Yeah.
No, the interesting thing that Kit Ellis pointed out was that
Yeah.
they don't mention wheelchairs or wheelchair basketball anywhere in the game.
Yeah.
He made a short about it. I disagree that is weird because like Arms doesn't make any reference to boxing. There's no term of
Right.
boxing. Springman literally has boxing gloves, and when you win a round, there's like a bell ringer, and it's literally in arenas with like the bouncy court around it. But Nintendo, I don't think they really want to call out like a specific sport.
Right.
In
Yeah,
their,
well, I mean, Metal
in
Gear
their, like,
Solid never
games.
acknowledges making me. Okay,
It
but I
definitely
know,
does.
But I know that
No, it
do.
100%
No, it doesn't.
does.
It never says
think
that
it
it's going to
does,
make me. It just does, and I know that
I'm
Hideo
pretty sure-
Kojima knows I'm gay.
I'm pretty
all right?
sure.
but he never acknowledges it.
I'm pretty
okay?
sure Gray Fox said you were horny when you fought him the last
Yeah.
No,
time.
there is a.
He
That,
looked in your memory card and was
his-
like,
Oh boy!
I was gonna say.
I know what you're up
Delete this
to.
now.
I was
I
gonna
know what
say,
you're up to.
I got really scared when I played the re-release of Metal Gear Solid 1 and Psycho Mantis started reading my browser history.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
that's rough.
Psycho
Oh.
Mantis reads his browser history and then runs away in fear.
Yeah,
Lots
that's
of
jumps out the
Gilgamesh
window.
in here.
There's a lot of
why
Psycho
are you,
Mantis
why
in
are you
there.
using Tor
Yeah.
so much?
He was really
Um,
scared.
So
okay, so
Dragon
you
Drive.
played
it's really
that.
fun.
Nice.
It's the
Happy
first
for
game
you.
where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is an experience that because so far it's been a 3D Donkey Kong game, which I'm glad is back.
Yeah.
but it is a 3D platformer
The
that doesn't.
wheelchair game is a
that-
Donkey Kong.
No.
What?
Switch. No,
Donkey
Switch
Kong
too.
is a
Quinn's-
Donkey Kong game.
Quinn's keeping up more than he ever has on any podcast. So
I'm so
He's-
lost.
All I'm
He's
saying is
mentioning
right,
it.
just right.
I want to
behind
know
it.
when the
Yeah.
first Switch game that didn't Switch 2 game that didn't start as a Switch 1 game.
I mean, technically, Dragon
Drive, yeah, that's true.
But
But like Donkey Kong, we know started on
big
Switch
game.
1.
Right.
I mean, big game.
But Dragon Drive
I'd say
is like a
Hyrule
tech
Warriors
demo.
probably did too.
I would say it's going to take a while.
Probably a while.
Like we're not because the Switch was so successful, and believe it or not, folks, Nintendo has become more transparent with its development since the Switch. But like a lot of Switch games were Wii U games. They just didn't talk about it.
Yeah,
Mario
right.
Odyssey was a Wii U game. Breath of the Wild, that's a pretty obvious one, was a Wii U game. But most
actually released on
early
Wii U.
Switch games were Wii U games.
Yeah.
I feel like Mario Odyssey wasn't it?
It was. Yeah,
It was?
It was.
How would that?
I would
be
actually say
work?
most Switch games were Wii U games because they were just
Oh, yeah,
re-released.
just ports.
There was a lot.
Yes, which I mean,
Right.
they're continuing the long-standing tradition of making significantly less original content and significantly more ports. They love
the
porting
old,
things.
Yeah, the
Have
the
they
end of a
done any
console-
ports for the Switch too?
No.
No.
well, not a direct port. I guess they have
Switch 2 versions.
done,
you
like,
mean.
Switch 2
Yeah, you can do,
versions,
like, upgrades.
and
Yeah.
obviously they're relying on the fact that the Switch has a very big library that you can
Library.
still play.
Yeah.
and therefore they don't feel a great need to fill up their own library with any speed.
Sure.
The Switch 2 though
no shock.
is already got a lot more lined up for it than like we've
Oh
already
yeah.
we've had an indie world and we've had a partner showcase.
Yeah.
And like when you consider the fact that the Switch 2 is just a few months old and we already have a gigantic amount of exclusives for it, in the modern age, that's pretty rare.
That is
Not
pretty
out
rare.
though.
Speaking
No, like
of
coming. in the
yeah,
next
like
few
the-
months,
yeah.
Speaking of indie directs, I want to talk about what I've been playing because I've been playing a couple of things from that indie direct.
Let's
Oh.
hear it.
They released
Haven't
a
seen it.
demo of what are the odds that these two games release a demo at the exact same time? They're both 2D Zelda likes, which you don't see that often, honestly. One from Square Enix team Asano, who made the Octopath series called The Adventures of Elliot. That's been a lot of fun.
That's an HD 2D.
That's an
not just
HD 2D.
yeah.
That's right. And the other one is from Yacht Club, my makers of Shovel Knight, really big fans of theirs, called Mina the Hollower.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's also a 2D Zelda like with a little bit of Dark Souls thrown in there because it's quite hard.
It's also the Switch
but-
2's first 120 frames per second.
It does run at
game.
120
It also
frames.
uses
yeah.
the mouse to. You
Oh.
can use the mouse to turn your character, but it mostly just makes
Really?
your character spaz
It doesn't seem
out.
to work right.
Doesn't
There's
seem to
some
work right.
there's some mouse implementation they're working on, I think.
Yeah.
But
Irony, Mina is a mouse.
she is a mouse. It's incredibly fun. I
It is
love
really
it.
good. I liked it.
I do think I like The Adventures of Elliot just a scooch more. I'm a huge
what
fan
does
of Team
Zelda
Asano.
like even mean? Zelda isn't even Zelda like.
Classic Zelda like.
Classic- Are you talking-
classic
Yeah.
Zelda?
Like the Adventure of Link?
No.
Actually, Mina
That's
the
the
Hollower.
only-
No,
That's
don't.
the
Mina
most
the Hollower,
asinine
no.
response.
Mina the Hollower has the same
Yeah,
level
I've
of
ever
system for
heard.
Adventure of Link.
Okay, so
it does.
it does.
So
It
it's
does,
like the
yeah.
Adventure of Link.
Yeah.
And that's what Zelda
I really
like
hate that it
means.
is like
Right.
it because Quintin was being so
I know,
asinine
he
with that
was.
response.
So,
He was.
all right. Well, I think the Adventure of Link is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Mina
so
the Hollower, I've also played the demo, is fantastic.
Yeah, it's
I've
really,
only
really
I always get
played,
mad at Yacht Club for how long they take to make things, and then it comes out, and I'm like,
yeah.
curse you.
Yeah,
I get why it took
I've
so
only
long.
on
played
Mina
Shovel
the
Knight, so I
Hollower.
don't have a lot of point of reference for because
Yeah.
I know they've produced a number of games through other
Yeah,
companies, right?
Mina's the next game after Shovel Knight. Let that sink
Yeah,
in.
right. Because
Yeah.
they've produced
Shovel
a number
Knight
of games,
Dig
right?
was not
Yacht
made
Club
by
has.
them.
No, Shovel Knight Dig was made by the SteamWorld
I didn't.
guys.
Yeah, I didn't play that.
Yeah.
I like SteamWorld and SteamWorld
Shovel
Heist,
Knight Dig,
but
in my opinion, in a world where I'm a child and like I don't know things about development, Shovel Knight Dig is like the sequel to Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
Like
it's a pretty good game.
It's like it looks like Shovel Knight looked like an NES game. Dig looks like a Super NES game. Like the
Okay.
characters and systems are
Yeah.
different. Like it's the Bomberman hero effect, which is very
Yeah.
esoteric to us.
Did you ever play The Messenger? The Messenger
I
is a game
did,
that
yeah.
literally you transition from 8 to 16
no,
bits.
I didn't.
Mhm.
As you play as this
Okay.
ninja, and so like in the 8 bits, it's like a Castlevania style level.
Yeah.
But then when you switch and go to 16-bit version, it becomes a Metroidvania, and the
dope.
whole world is connected. You travel around, you switch back to 8 bits to play the level. And
Oh,
We talked about this
interesting.
before.
It's a really
I did not
fun
play
game.
the Messenger, but I did play Cyber Shadow, which is where you're a
yeah,
robot ninja, and it came
Yeah,
out.
you
at the
thought it
same
was the
time,
same,
and I was like,
but
"Oh,
same
I got to
thing.
play
I
it."
played both of them as well. I think that it might have colored my experience with Mina the Hollower a little bit, that I played The Adventure of Elliot right before.
First, yeah.
Because The Adventures of Elliot, the boss design is fantastic in the demo.
Oh,
And you also feel like you have a ton of options. Whenever you lose, you're like, oh man, I messed up. And it can be pretty tough.
Yeah.
But you're like, you know exactly what you did wrong.
yeah.
With Mina the Hollower, sometimes I felt like I didn't have enough options. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here to get away from this enemy.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's
It's like
very-
the shield enemies in the fire section. They're tough.
Yeah.
I was like,
what am I
what
supposed to do?
here? Yeah.
I feel like I need to give it a little more of a shake. I had a lot of fun playing it, but I felt like something wasn't clicking.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I'm in a demo like that, it can be one of two things. It can be that I played a game that looks similar but is quite different, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to like map that onto it.
Mhm.
Or it can be that like you're going to get a power up in 2 minutes that's going to make this game
True.
feel more active.
yeah.
There've been a lot of games where I played the demo and something doesn't quite click. When I played Gunvolt, it was kind of that way. I played the demo for Gunvolt and I'm like, it seems like a little too simple. I wish my gun just damaged enemies. And it wasn't until I got like a bunch of abilities that all happened really early. And
Yeah.
I suddenly like, oh wait, I get it now, right?
Yeah.
With Mina the Hollower, I was playing it. I beat it with all the different weapons, and I got the there's an award for basically getting to the highest level you can get in the demo. I got that
Yeah.
on all of them as well.
Oh, that's cool.
And some of the weapons are really interesting.
Yeah.
Like the hammer has a
I like the
dodge
hammer.
in it that has iframes. And I was like, why is the heaviest weapon have iframes and the lightest weapon doesn't? you feel so stuck with the lightest
Is
weapon.
the lightest weapon the swords?
It's the knives, yeah.
The knives, yeah.
And
That's
I'm
the
like-
only thing I played with.
I'm like, something isn't quite clicking. When I had the hammer, I'm like, I can dodge anything. And I'm like, I feel like
the biggest, heaviest
yeah,
weapon.
the biggest, heaviest
Yeah,
weapon
yeah.
has iframes. And I'm like, something's not clicking, but it might be that I'm approaching the game not quite the right way. Because of the Adventures of Elliot, you have a lot of options.
You do, yeah.
And then, and the enemies are really complicated. And in Mina the Hollower, the enemies are a little simpler, but you have very few options. And I'm thinking like, maybe I just need to approach it a little differently and to click more, or maybe there's a power up right around the corner that kind of makes it all come together. But ultimately, I had a lot of fun with both.
Which art style do you guys prefer? The HD 2D or Mina's like leans in hard to that like old school Game Boy?
I'm gonna like lose my old man gamer cred here. I do like HD 2D.
looks really
They
I'm a
do
big
some
fan.
really cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
They do some really
Octopath
cool stuff,
2
but it
is
also
pretty rad.
and it also is probably that like Mina is going for that NES or Game Boy look,
Game Boy.
and I'm
for
much
sure,
more nostalgic to the Super Nintendo.
You know,
style
I feel like
of
with the
graphics.
HD 2D crowd, I think that they were like, you know what I really miss? The 3DS. Running that slider and getting some perspective, you know,
Oh, I
because
know.
they would like mutant muds. There is no reason for mutant muds to have 3D,
But it
right?
does.
But you're looking at it, and the little house in the background,
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
you know, is there's you can
I
see
was
the
gonna say,
distance.
I would argue
right?
maybe because you jump into the background. That's cool in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I wasn't saying that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
bad. It's not necessary, but
Right,
it,
Shovel
but
Knight
it,
had 3D.
but Shovel Knight had 3D,
Yeah,
right? And
right.
they were just
I miss
like
it.
they were like, let's just put this in all sorts of 2D games
Sure.
so I can give it depth.
Yeah.
But now you don't have the little parallax barrier screen on everything, so they're like, well, how can we give some depth to
Yeah.
2D worlds? And I think that says that this was something that, if it had been implemented right, would have been very appealing.
Yeah.
Just it gave everyone migraines and seizures, and they passed out and died and vomited and
Yeah.
sued Nintendo, and then lost their lawsuits because
And
Nintendo's
then
the
realized
richest company in
Nintendo
the
didn't
world.
make HD 2D.
And
I think that
there you go.
pixel sprites in like 3D environments do generally look like pretty good. I mean, like
They
Fire
can,
Emblem
yeah.
Awakening is like an example. I mean, that's
Yeah.
another 3DS game.
mhm.
yeah.
But like the Pokemon games that everyone's like nostalgic for are the
Mhm.
ones that are 3D environments, but they use pixel sprites. The
Yes.
Diamond Pearl,
Yeah, right.
Black and White.
you got to
Yeah,
get the
point.
lighting right.
Yeah, I
That-
mean,
that's
like you
the
can't
thing.
just put sprites in a 3D environment and make it look good.
Yeah.
But it
That's the
does-
Octopath secret, is that the lighting is
It's
so
really
good in
good.
Octopath.
Dragon
Traveler.
Quest 3 and what I've seen of Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the lighting is like perfect. Because do you remember back in the day on the PS3 there was a game called 3D Dot Heroes?
Oh yeah, I do.
Where it was not pixels, but it was like it was like
voxels.
voxel characters. The lighting was vomit inducing.
It was bad.
Like
It
the
was
way
brutal.
the
The game
light
was fun,
hit.
but the lighting was
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And so I think what they had to learn how to do is like leave sprites used to use like art like pixels to create the illusion
Yeah.
of light, like a white line.
Yeah.
They have to remove that from these because light is literally the game engine's
Yeah.
light is going to shine on them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then it can't just make them shine like a piece of plastic. The pixel has to like respond to the light.
Pixel isn't
Minecraft,
really a
Minecraft
pixel.
has lighting.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right.
Minecraft has lighting.
It
Yeah.
sure does.
And in Minecraft, all the sides, each side is 2D.
Yep.
Good job, Quin.
You know what I mean?
You contribute.
Like, you know,
Well,
it's
everything
a-
is pixelated. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all
yeah.
the
You know how
textures.
it's a square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, each side of a square is flat,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Right?
not it's a cube. It's not a
not a
square.
square.
Well, no, I'm
yeah.
saying each one
No,
is
but
a
each side
square.
is a
Each
square.
side is a
Oh,
square.
each side is a
Side
square.
is a,
Right?
is a
So
square.
you have like a block
a
in
pixel
each
is
side.
also a square.
But then you think
That's
about
true.
it, and it's got pixels, and those are squares.
squares
and each
within
one of
squares,
those-
huh?
Good job. Quin.
Where's
one
Jack
of the-
Black fit into all
When-
this?
Each one of those is 2D,
Where's the chicken jockey?
and there's lighting.
Ethan,
Harrison,
what did you do?
Ethan, I
All right,
forgot that
if we're done with that topic.
I tried to skip Ethan just now. I was about to ask about Harrison, but Ethan, go
Real
ahead.
good.
Let's hear it.
Other than the demos for those games,
Yeah.
I got back into V Rising. Was
I don't know what that
gonna
is.
try to play some of the new content that came out a couple months ago.
Nice.
There was old content.
And
What is this?
it's quite good.
V Rising.
V right? What is that?
Is that the
Have
Zombo?
have
It's the vampire game.
Have you
Vampire
talked about
game.
this?
I have
Before?
many times, many
You
many
have, yeah.
times.
That sounds like a lie. I
no,
don't-
but,
I don't think
uh,
I've ever heard of this.
I tried out the two new weapons that they added. They are both very fun.
Garlic and holy water.
You play as a vampire.
Oh,
Which,
never
if
mind.
you're fighting other vampires, that's pretty based.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
you do fight
You
a lot
use
of other
your
vampires,
weakness.
but
Imagine
I mean,
if a vampire.
I fight people with bullets all the time. Those are my weaknesses.
yeah, right. Exactly.
One of my favorite things about that
Exactly.
game is they did a Castlevania collab, and so you
Yeah.
get like Alucard's armor and gear, and you can get a version of like you want the first power you get, you can turn into a wolf to just move faster. You can
It's
get
not
Alucard's
vampire.
version of it, where you're like the white wolf with the sword.
Yeah.
But then one of the things they did was they added a boss, which is just Simon Belmont, and he just walks around the map. And when you run into him, he starts
He's
throwing.
literally Simon
He's
Belmont.
it's just Simon Belmont.
Oh.
And he's just the big, the man thigh himself from
Yeah,
Smash
yeah.
Bros.
Nice.
He just throws crosses at you in holy water and whips you in
Wow.
the face, and like he just roams around the map. You'll just be
Wow.
fighting like a level 1 enemy, and then turn around and there's Simon Belmont.
Yeah.
Is
I
it,
did not
you
know he was in the game when I
Yeah.
picked it up. I saw the Castlevania thing, but I thought it was
Yeah.
just a cosmetic pack, and then when I ran into Simon Belmont, he killed me in like 3 seconds.
He is good at doing
you know,
that
as much
with
as I like
vampires.
vampires, I just I don't know if I would like playing as a vampire. I feel like the thrill of killing a vampire is more fun
Well,
than
you
the
do
thrill
that
of,
too.
of being a vampire and like killing a virgin, right?
I
You know
think
what I
you
mean?
mostly do kill vampires and,
Yeah.
and
If I killed a
monsters.
virgin
Yeah, yeah.
as just a
See,
normal human, I'd be like, that would be okay.
actually
but I
like-
feel
It's-
like being a
would it
vampire
though?
and killing a virgin would
Let me
be
tell you
wrong.
something about killing
You mean in a
virgins.
video
It's
game?
massively
No.
overrated.
Okay.
It's massively overrated. It's exactly the same as killing anybody else.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I
Actually,
don't know.
One question about the game: can you enter people's houses, or do you have to be invited?
That would be so cool.
That would be a
No,
cool mechanic.
You can only
yeah.
go in houses that already have their doors open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't go into a
I
house
think
that
that's
doesn't.
Yeah,
have
that's
it.
cheating. I don't think that
Yeah.
counts.
I
So
don't think it
you
counts.
you can only go into
They
houses
should do it
that
where
already have,
there's a welcome mat.
Yeah.
Where, like,
Right.
it's welcoming
Yeah.
No, I think there
anybody.
should be like
Around
Just go
like a
right in.
persuasion
There-
skill, right? And
Yeah.
if your persuasion stat is high enough, you can convince someone to let them
To
into
let
your
you in.
house.
That would be
right?
interesting.
That's pretty Yeah. cool.
You can go
one
in
of
and use costumes and dress like a Mormon, and your chance of getting inside goes down.
There is
Right.
a really cool boss. So, like in this one area, there's all these people walking around with hoods up, and they just kind of walk
Yeah.
the like highways.
Okay.
And sometimes when you hit them, they're just a person. They just fall over dead. You know,
Yeah.
if they take enough damage. Sometimes they're like the undead, like a skeleton or a zombie hiding in a cloak. And then sometimes they're this one like vampire hunter who's a boss, and he'll like throw the cloak off, and you can fight him. When you beat him, you get that as a power where you can disguise yourself just as a person, and you can go into towns and like buy things.
Yeah.
And you
pretty
can
cool.
eat people there.
Yeah, you can like
Okay.
try to like hide somewhere and ambush somebody.
and
And
is
then
there an
escape.
advantage to drinking these people's blood? Vampires don't have any blood in them, right?
You-
So you
no.
have to feed on humans.
You can depending. So like humans can be rogues, brutes, warriors, or villagers.
So you don't
And
have
each
to
one has
feed.
different abilities. Then you can feed on animals, which give you beasts. There are mutants, and then there are
You get the abilities from
Draculans.
whatever you feed
But
on.
you could go through the game without eating like blood, or like or killing
Yeah.
people. You could.
You could
This
go
is a
through
very
just
strange
eating.
vampire. So wait, but you're surrounded by other
So
Draculas,
what I like about the story is that
I
like
don't need to know which
vampires-
Dracula I am.
just like others.
vampires in V Rising, they like ruled the world, and then these paladins fought them back with like the power of light, right? There's these holy paladins. And when they kill Dracula, it causes a blood rain all over the world. Dracula
Okay.
dies. You're one of the vampires from that war, and you hid yourself in a tomb and went to sleep. And it's been hundreds of years. And what's happened is there are people who still think that they're paladins. They aren't. They are actually using Dracula's power. But they think it's that holy power from
But-
before.
but let me tell you,
So you're
wait a
going
minute.
and you're stealing all that power back.
But
from
Simon
them.
Belmont's in this game, and he uses the power of Jesus to kill
does.
vampires.
Yeah,
so
he does
where
it
does
true.
this
Quite
fit into
effectively.
this paladin light narrative?
He might be the last one left.
Oh,
That might be it.
Man,
Let me tell
might
you,
just be Simon.
the last
He's
time
the
I saw a
last
blood
Christian.
rain was when I tried to launch that blue whale into space.
Let me tell
All
you
right.
something. I'm now
Did not
realizing
go
something
well.
from what you've told me just now. I am surprised that there has not been a Christian movie about how vampires have taken over the world,
Yeah.
and they have to find the one Catholic left who can stop them.
That's I
Isn't
am
that,
Legend.
isn't that Omega Man?
I don't know, but I think that's a great idea. Okay, they got to
yeah.
find one Catholic.
Get on it.
Quinn, wait,
Spielberg.
what have you been playing? if
Anything?
Wait, Harrison, do you have something?
I've
Maybe
been playing Sid Meier's Civilization 5.
Nice.
I'm just gonna I don't
Leave it
know what
at
else
that.
to say about
Yeah.
that game.
There you
You
go.
all know what
Nice.
that game is.
I have been thinking about playing Civilization 5 because
Okay.
that and Crusader Kings 3 have
do
been
love
on my
Crusader
mind
Yeah.
literally nonstop recently.
We should
play
we should get
Crusader
a game going
be
of
fun.
Crusader Kings. It's very
stream
fun.
it.
I love
content
Crusader Kings
ideas.
3. I'm so bad at it, but it's so fun. Anyways, I have been playing Death Stranding 2 on the beach, and in
Oh.
fact, I beat it, and in fact, I hated it.
Oh, no.
I need to get the PlayStation from you and just
And
play
play
that
through
game
it, yeah.
because
Yeah.
like everything I see about it seems more insane than the first one.
It
Yeah.
was bad. It was
Oh.
really bad, and I don't. Everyone loves it, and it
Everyone
was.
loves it.
It's
Yeah.
one of those. It's one of those things where, like, sometimes you watch like a movie that's got like a 100% on Metacritic, and you watch it, and you're like, I don't get it, right?
Yeah.
This everyone else is wrong,
Right.
right? This movie
Right.
was crap, right? This is how I am with Death Stranding 2. It feels like the biggest waste of my time. Because they have an opening area that's super interesting.
Yeah.
You have very intentional looking terrain, and you spend about 5 minutes there and you leave it and you never go back.
Oh.
It has these fields where lightning strikes constantly, and so you have to like avoid the points where the lightning is going to strike, and you have to kind of weave around. There's sandstorms that just hit all the time, and because the area in that first area is so small, you're just constantly hitting, all these obstacles and sandstorms, and it's really interesting. You don't have the truck at that time, so you can't just like load up and do 50 deliveries all at once.
Yeah.
And then the second area
Is the gameplay the same as is the idea the
it's
same
basic.
as the original?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically the same.
Deliver pizza
it's
and save the world?
yes, you deliver pizza
Yeah.
and save the world. The problem
Or
is,
no,
is
I'm
that,
sorry. That was the Lego Island game for DOS.
correct.
No, you're
Sorry.
pretty. No, you're right. You're
Sorry.
right.
It's also Death Stranding.
But it's once, and like I've told you in the previous times that I've talked to you guys about this, they made the game so easy that even if you put it on the hard difficulty, just
That's
because
why it's popular. Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, because you can, like the trucks, you can get like special treads for the trucks so they can go up mountains, and it's like,
Sure.
it makes it to where you don't even really need to set up zip line networks because it's so easy to just drive. Like, it saves time, but at the same time, you don't have to. Like, in the first game, these snowy areas were so inaccessible. If you wanted to get a car up there, it was so difficult, right? That you were pushed to innovate. And in this, that's not really the case. I never felt like I needed to do any of that. I never felt like I needed to finish the roads.
Yeah.
Like, everything was so easy. Like I say, you put it on the hardest difficulty, and like you hardly ever run into BTs. When you do, it's like really easy to get around them. And so, just kind of overall, the gameplay was, I would say, just really incredibly boring.
Which that sucks.
But then, I mean, the
'Cause
story.
the first one, I think it's safe to say the first one had a pretty profound effect on you, right? Like the
yeah,
first one.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I have 100% that game a number of times, and it's a long game.
So I
if you
also
want 100% it.
my thought on it too is like one of my favorite games is Green Hell,
Mhm.
and part of the fun of Green Hell is you never really get like a proper inventory for most things.
Right.
You have like a little backpack and it can fit some stuff in it. But
Yeah.
if you want to build
you travel
like
very light.
yeah, you travel very light. You want to like build a little tent. You got to go and pick up mud and
Right.
shape it, and you got to pick up sticks and put them on your shoulder and carry them. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're doing a lot of like manual labor, and you never get better than that.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yeah.
the best
Right.
you could do, right? And that's part of what makes it fun. And so when I saw that like Death Stranding had all these limitations in the original, I'm like, yeah, that's going to be part of the charm.
Absolutely.
So to get rid of them might
Yeah.
it's like in
You got to
Minecraft,
replace them with something.
yes, exactly.
It's
And
like
I mean-
Minecraft if you just give yourself diamonds, they don't mean anything.
Well, and it's
right?
also
Yeah,
like
in creative mode,
Yeah.
none of that means
no, and
Right.
it's also weird because like the trailers for it would show the environmental effects, and so like they would show like a Sam by a river, and then it would begin to flood rapidly,
Yeah.
right? And there'd be just this
That's
like
just
a
not in it,
mudslide.
really.
It's in it, but like it was never a problem for me because one, the second map is where you're going to really experience that, and the second map is huge, and so the chance of you running into it when it's rushing by is relatively low. There is a system that tells you when a flash flood is coming in, so you know how to avoid it, right?
Yeah.
And even when it does happen, guess what? You're in a truck delivering, you got 40 deliveries and you're in a massive truck, and the truck can go over anything at this point, right? And so you have rushing water, well, just drive through it. You don't have to worry about going around. And even there's a fast travel system which sort of, it marks your delivery as what's called a Magellan delivery, because you ride in your ship, the Magellan, but like it docks it, but you can just go and make tons of deliveries by just parking the Magellan next to the delivery point and then driving to it. And it's like, it docks your points like a little bit, but the amount of time you save
is huge,
is pretty huge. And
why
so
do you think they didn't make like a Mario Odyssey or like, well, now Donkey Kong Bonanza, like assist mode that just does all of those things, but you have to say like, I don't want to play Death Stranding this way. I want to play it.
I don't know. And that's what's weird is that like when the first game came out, and this one has this too, they had like the story mode difficulty, which basically just makes it to where the deliveries are less punishing because, your deliveries don't take as much damage, and you have more time, to make deliveries. It's almost, it's literally like it'll give you like an hour to complete your delivery or something like that, on the timed ones. There's all sorts of little things. I don't know all of the things that it does, but when I looked at that, I was like, oh, well, this is great. It just basically automates enough of the game that if somebody just wants to get the story, they can. And I love it, but still interacting with it. I love that, right? It made me think of the easiest difficulty of like Uncharted with the aim assist and everything.
Baldur's Gate has a story.
Right. And I like that. And Death Stranding 2 has that, but I'm like, I don't even know who this is for. Who is this for?
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like it has like...
It was...
The regular mode is easy mode, and then it has baby mode, and it's like, why don't you just make like the regular game that's really challenging, and then baby mode?
One would think, but I think the problem with that is that it is mechanically flawed, right? And you would
like core fundamental.
Yeah, well, again, they took the big open area and they removed all of the interesting environmental effects from the first one because any environmental effects that are there, the map is too big and the chance of you running into it is so low.
It's really low.
And so, it's kind of frustrating because there's all these things. It's like avalanches. There are avalanches in the game. And like I ran into them maybe like 2 or 3 times and never had any problem. I never got like hit with an avalanche.
Was the story at least good?
No. My God, the story was bad.
I thought about the story. I don't know all of the story, but I actually feel like a year or 2 from now, you're going to be telling me how profound the story is.
I don't know. I might because maybe
just let it sink in a little bit more.
Sometimes, I've been like laying awake, looking at the ceiling, and Death Stranding 2 still haunts me, and I'm trying to figure out.
You've only been done with it for like 2 days.
Yes. No, but I literally will like sit there and just think about it, and I'm like, the game has like multiple choreographed dance sequences, right? One of them...
Yes, of course.
Naturally.
The big thing is that I think that there was just such a magic to the first game's story in that it was a fascinating world that...
And you're already not the biggest sequel guy in the world.
No, I don't generally like sequels.
Here's my hot take.
Uh-huh.
I think...
Give us your hot take. We're going to wrap it up.
Yeah. I think the Kojima's point of the story in Death Stranding 2 is a commentary on modern sequels, just rehashing things from the original for cheap thrills.
There
have been a couple times when I looked at a couple scenes and I went, this seems like they're nodding at the camera of like, remember Death Stranding 1? Wink?
I don't know that it is intentional. I thought that. See, I think that Metal Gear Solid 2 is that, where it is making the player think like, oh, they're just rehashing everything. But then there is clear intentionality to that, right? This, it's not so much like Death Stranding 1 in. Outside of really superficial things. Like, yes, there are like ghost sequences where you interact with a dead person, you have to fight them. But like the actual purpose of that is very different and worse. The characters, it replaces all of the characters and none of them are really like the characters from the first one in particular, but they.
Quinn, when are we getting a video of the full Death Stranding 2 breakdown?
I don't think I could.
Give us your long and bitter.
What I will say, just to talk for a second about the story, like I say, it feels like it's missing a certain magic, but also, like I was saying about Kojima knowing things about me, just because Kojima knows about me doesn't mean that he likes me. And Kojima, I think, knows...
Most people who know you don't.
Yeah, exactly. That shows how much Kojima knows about me. What I realized is that Kojima knows something that most people don't know. Okay. Which is that I'm a deeply closeted straight man. Oh. Okay? I'm a deeply closeted straight man.
I have to admit, I didn't know that.
He thought... that if he put a bunch of women in the game, that I would like it more. Okay.
Elle Fanning is in the game.
She's in the game. She doesn't wear shoes, and her feet are dirty, and that's a part of the story. Okay. And also she also has she's also got autism spectrum disorder. Okay. And they thought that I wanted an autistic girl who has dirty feet. He's wrong. Oh. Hideo Kojima is wrong about that. There's a woman who is always pregnant and cannot be not pregnant. Okay.
All right.
I've known some people like that.
He thought that I would want that.
Right.
And I don't want that. No, I don't want that. He has a French girl that is dead. I do want that.
Oh, great. Okay.
That's one thing.
You should play Claire Obscura.
He got one thing right, but then he just keeps.
So what you're saying is Death Stranding 2, your nominee for Game of the Year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, he
New
just
game, not game.
I want to close.
Yeah, just wrapped.
I want to close it real quick with what's a game coming up in the next few weeks you're excited for? Rapid fire, Ethan, go. Just a game that's coming.
Just
up
name a game.
What's a game you're excited about?
If you can't have one in about 5 seconds.
I can't think of any games coming out.
Harrison, name a game that you're excited for next week.
It's coming out next year. It's called Deltarune Chapter 5.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hooray.
Okay.
Go,
Devin.
Ty, what's...
perpetually coming tomorrow is Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah.
I want to mention the one that's
this
like...
is the real point of this section.
It's like actually coming out. Is Pac-Man World 2 Repack.
Wow,
Repack. Dope. I just pre-ordered it today.
Of course
Super
you
cool.
did.
Pac-Mom's in it because... At Games won't let go of Miss Pac-Man.
That's
go,
crazy.
Quintin.
I'm looking forward to Crusader Kings 3 / Civilization 5.
When is it coming out?
It's out.
Oh, Quintin.
And I was just talking about this because by next week I might be playing those games.
Actually, Europa Universalis 5, that game is coming out at some point. I don't know when. It's soon.
Death Stranding 4.
Yeah, Death Stranding 4.
Death Stranding 4. We're so excited.
Real one, Jurassic World Evolution 3.
I should mention.
I like those Zoo Tycoons with dinosaurs.
Harrison, after we're done talking about this and we're all wrapped up, where are we going? Is there a place we go to after this? Do you know what to do as a producer?
I think we go to the tropics.
Oh, yeah. Underwater.
Your weather control experiment.
Guys, welcome to Topic of the Week.
Gone.
It's the news.
Tropics of the Week.
Harrison, reach your meaty claw and give us the news.
And what song is it playing right now, Harrison?
Donkey Kong.
It's it's playing the Zelda item kit.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The forecast is from Ethan.
Oh.
The good and the bad. That weird character that doesn't play the same as others.
Oh.
Okay, that's a good one.
This one's fun.
A weird character that doesn't play like the others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the OG.
Oh, the OG.
The OG. You go all the way back to the first game that started to have to try to make sense of its own internal engine, and then there's that one character, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Why aren't they this way? And the OG is Jigglypuff. Shield breaks, dies instantly.
No, that's true.
Yoshi, shield is an egg.
Oh wait, well, if we can,
I think that starts in Melee, right?
If we can use fighting games,
yeah,
then there's like a million answers.
Yes,
but they have to be not just unique. They have to, because the Surfbot's unique because how small he is.
Yeah.
But they have to be like, oh no, wait a minute, I'm playing a different game all of a sudden.
Oh,
Mega Man in Ultimate, Smash
pretty
Ultimate
close,
is pretty close. Smash
his jab is
because he's just
projectile.
shooting. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But like,
you mean like playing as like Zero? when you first play as Zero in Mega Man X?
No, that's not
Does
a game
that
where you can
count?
play as multiple
It
characters,
has,
right?
yeah, it has to be a game
No.
where like you have multiple characters. You
There
can
have to
play
be
as,
at least
and
3
there's just-
characters, 2 of which are similar, and 1 is the odd man out.
Like the characters
Yeah.
in Gunvolt that all play differently,
This
right?
is gonna hurt. This is gonna pain.
Isn't there through?
this
one
will
character in
this will
Gunvolt.
is
pain
there only
these
one
two
character in
gentlemen.
Gunvolt?
But it's kind of like how in Xenoblade 2, Poppy levels up differently
Right.
than everyone else.
Yeah, that's true. I was
Oh,
actually
yeah,
going.
yeah.
My example was actually going to be Blue Mage.
I
from
thought
Final
you could
Fantasy.
wait.
Yeah,
I
Blue
thought
Mage.
you could
Blue
play
Mage
as
12.
Mighty
From
Number
5.
9 in Gunvolt.
Yeah, Blue Mage in 5 is
Plays
like
Gunvolt
just
in Mighty Gunvolt.
gets spells from
Where
monsters.
can you play as both
Oh,
Mighty Number
yeah,
9?
Mighty
yeah.
Gunvolt.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
You can play as Gunvolt and whoever that loser from Mighty
Mighty
Number
is his name.
Mighty, and they play the same.
I don't think that's
Then
his name.
they're
Isn't
pretty
his name
different.
9?
Yeah, let's say I thought they were different. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. So that would count, right? Like Mighty plays, he's just exactly
Yeah.
like Mega Man, right?
Sure.
And then Gunvolt has his little charge.
No, that is
energy
interesting.
Kind of, yeah.
around.
Actually,
Blue Mage is that way, where
Yeah, I
like
think Blue Mage is
you've
a great
got
example.
everybody's got a list of moves, but then Blue Mage doesn't have his own moves at all. He copies the enemies, right?
how
Right.
different do we have to be?
The main character,
what I mean?
Mighty Number 9, is named Beck. I had to
Beck.
look it up. I
Beck
totally
and
forgot.
Call.
I have,
Instead of
I
rock and
I
roll.
don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
play the original Mighty Number 9 because it looked awful.
This is a deep cut.
oh,
But in Lord of the Rings Conquest, Faramir doesn't play right.
Yeah,
Faramir
'cause-
doesn't
yeah.
play like anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bad.
he can't guard break.
Actually, I would say
break.
this
It's
most
terrible.
different is Gimli because Gimli is like his own class. Everyone else
Yeah.
is like either like
okay.
a tall man or a hobbit, and then Gimli's like this weird in between.
It's a freak.
That's true.
He's a freak of nature.
That's true.
Yeah, honestly, the one I would go with was Servbot because of
Yeah.
the fact that I've never seen a character who has the size discrepancy of Servbot. He's literally
So small.
He's literally like
Yes.
a
Yeah.
quarter of the size of most characters. He's like 10 times smaller than like Sentinel.
Yeah.
And it's wild that, like, when I was a kid, I thought I was just bad at the game because I couldn't get combos as Servbot. No, his combos, like, don't work like a traditional character's combos. Like, Marvel vs. Capcom, what is the original, is it Mugen or Mupin? I forget.
Mugen, the like fighting game.
Yeah.
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 It's like literally the characters and sprites were just pulled from
All
other
over.
games.
Well,
all
yeah,
over
that's the whole
place.
point. It's like a cooperative game
Was the
building.
Auto Wookiee, was he unique in Clone Wars?
dear
I
Lord.
don't know, but
Well, I'm gonna say
There were other
that Shovel
blasters.
Knight.
There were other blaster
Yeah.
guys.
Shovel Knight. Every playable individual in Shovel Knight,
Is
right?
different,
Because
yeah.
there's Plague Knight
yeah.
and Spectre Knight and
No, I will
but
say-
they're all different. There's no norm to break away
there's no
from.
norm.
well, Shovel
Right.
Knight is the norm because that's
The
the,
Shovel of
main
Hope
guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy, and then they said,
Actually,
"We need to do more."
Tatsunoko versus Capcom has two giants, where instead of playing two
Yeah,
characters,
yeah.
you just have a giant, and that is,
Yeah.
Oh wait,
different.
in the Masters of Terraskazi, all the characters have names, and only one of them is named Whore,
That's true.
That is true.
right?
They
and
did
that's
not
unique.
think
True,
about
you
that.
That's a
it.
different thing
Yeah.
because you're playing a Star Wars game.
Remember
and
when you
you're-
get to strangle whore?
you get to strangle
Yeah.
Whore, right? And
No, just not no A.
what? I didn't
No
say
A.
an A.
You
You get to strangle Whore, and the thing is that it's a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
and you've
Who
got
came up with that name? Whore. H-O-A-R.
George Lucas himself.
Luke.
yeah. I was gonna
Lucas
say George
himself
Lucas was it was a memo.
when
and
thinking
he was
about his
like-
ex-wife,
He no
based the
no.
character on his
It was
ex-wife.
a phone call, and they were like, "So George, we're making this game," and
What's
he was like,
Tusken
"Sorry,
Raider
I've got a whore here," and then he was like, "What?
They were like,
What does the
oh.
character need to be called?" And he's like, "I'm just get out of here, you whore!" And he was like, the connection was just really weak, and they,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
And then I don't know why they named the Gamorrean prostitute. That was strange.
that made a
though.
lot of sense.
I don't
that makes
know.
perfect in the
Makes
context of the
perfect
game.
sense if you
in the
understand
context
the
You
of the
don't
game.
speak
makes sense.
Sheerwolf is the reason.
Yeah, no.
That's right.
Now,
Gamorrean
this
was
is not a
working
character that plays any different. I just want to mention it because you mentioned it.
Mhm.
In Crash Team Racing, there's a penguin that you can play as.
Yep.
If you glitch, you have to put in a code to play as him because he's
Mm-hmm.
not playable normally. But he has maxed stats, and the thing that's really different about him is that one of his, like when you jump off of a thing and do a boost, no joke, one of his lines is literally just one of the programmers going, Penguin Ye 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like they didn't take it out. So that's
So
pretty,
he's different.
So he's kind of different.
In the remake of CTR, they have the penguin saying Penguin Ye 1, but in the penguin voice.
Yeah, he like goes,
Oh.
Penguin
Yeah.
Ye 1. Like
Yeah.
he
Oh,
actually says
that's
it. It's
nice.
pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Nice.
Even though that
Um,
remake is trash.
Yeah.
But that's a different topic.
Honestly, again, we've talked about
Was
how
it was
they never
Jigglypuff
need to
that
do
made
that.
you think
Think
of
of
this
that?
topic though?
Yeah, Jigglypuff, Faramir from
Yeah,
Lord of
the
Rings.
weird one.
In general, you just gotta be thinking. There's all these times when like there'll be a game with a like, oh, this is the guard button, this is your heavy attack, this is your dash button, and then they'll come along with one character and like, what if they didn't have any of those?
Yeah.
What if they were two
almost a
characters
joke
riding on
character or something?
Yeah. Almost like a joke character, but
There's
sometimes they wind up being
I'm
really
picturing
fun.
his face in Power Stone. There's one character that when
Hmm.
you're playing Power Stone, and I can't remember who it is, but you play as him, and all of a sudden you're just like, why? Like I just figured out how to play this game, and I'm playing as this dude. I think it's the big dude with dreadlocks, but I don't remember.
In Knights of the Old Republic, the character Juhani is gay, and none of the other characters are gay. Does
One of the
that
characters
count?
is a-
There you go.
No.
Is
Knights of the
it-
Republic does have
Because
Good
like,
Juhani is a
three
lesbian,
droid
right? And a
characters that are
cat.
different
True.
than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've gone
true.
with
That's-
either of them.
That's true.
Oh, that's a good point. T3 is a droid, and he
He
doesn't
is.
play like the others
He can't
because
talk to
he
people.
doesn't talk, and he's a robot.
He beat boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Lego Star Wars, like the first one, I remember when we were
Yeah.
first playing.
oh,
it.
actually,
The
Those are
Jedi
great
makes
examples.
sense. The blaster characters are pretty straightforward, and then all of a sudden you just like find Jar Jar, and he can't
Yeah.
do
Uh-huh.
anything.
Yeah.
But
Well,
he jumps like crazy higher than
Yes.
the Jedi,
Yeah.
and you're just
Yeah,
like,
that was Jar Jar's like one thing.
but he
Here-
can't
here's-
attack.
here's
That's what's
what,
weird.
uh,
He can't slap. He can't do anything.
He's like a droid
No.
character.
He's
but,
like a
not
support character.
droid.
So
Yeah.
But he's
here's
not a
what I'll
droid,
say.
yeah.
KOTOR is actually a really good example of this because they have quite a bit of variety. Obviously, there's Kreia, and she cannot use two-handed weapons, right? And she also cannot be influenced in terms of light and dark side. That's interesting.
The droids are classes you can't play as.
The droids are classes
Yeah,
you cannot
true.
play as. So are the Wookiee characters, Zalbar and Honhar. You cannot unlock those classes. Mira has special abilities because she's the only one that can use the wrist rocket, which is pretty interesting. Visas has a special sight ability. You can get that special sight ability. I will say you have to learn it from her when you have a good enough
Yeah, yeah.
relationship with her. So there's like different little interesting abilities that the various ones have. But then also, so I think they do a good job of having like, okay, all the characters can use two-handed weapons. We're going to make sure that Kreia has this sort of self-imposed limitation. And I think that's interesting. And also, Juhani is a lesbian and also a cat woman.
Oh,
And I kill her every time I play the game.
Oh.
Every time they give
I
me the
see.
chance, I don't care if I'm doing a lightsaber.
she would kill you if she played the game.
Doesn't she like want to eat the fish people? Am I
Yes.
misremembering it? Because she's
Because
like a
she's a
cat.
cat.
Isn't that
And
a
that's
thing
funny.
where she goes to the Selkath planet and
That-
she's
my-
like, I hate these fish because I'm hungry and gay.
I really
remember
kind of
that?
forgot about
Didn't
all
we-
about these games.
Didn't we
Yeah.
play
my
this?
favorite example in recent times is Min Min in Smash Ultimate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Actually, I do like that.
Like so much about her does not like the fact that her just most of her specials just center around the idea of using like the A button and the B button are like her left arm and her right arm. That's nothing like any other Smash Bros.
That's
I
true.
would say Steve. In
Steve,
Smash
too.
Bros. is also
Minecraft,
another
yeah.
one. Because he's the only one that can like
Minecraft.
place blocks.
Mhm.
Or,
Right.
like actually.
Right.
Like,
Isn't it weird
They
though that in
pull from
Smash
terrain.
Bros context, Min Min is more different than Steve is. Steve still has
Yeah.
smash attacks,
Mhm.
like up
Mhm.
smash and side smash and stuff.
Mhm.
Min Min's like special attacks just are you can what would you call it? Spare like as Min Min because you can special in the air and it's
Yeah.
different from special on the ground.
yeah.
She she like her nair, her neutral air is also her neutral special. She's just
Yeah.
she's maybe one of the best
Yeah.
examples of a really weird
That's true.
character. And I love that the competitive scene hates her
Mhm.
because I think
Yeah.
if you're a fan of the series and you're a casual player like all of us, thank goodness. it's just like the coolest idea for a character.
I wish that Smash Bros had more variation. I think that you run into the risk of having Little Macs, which are like the most idiotic variation. Like you have a game that involves the easiest way to KO someone is knocking them off, and edge guarding, and then they make someone who can't get back. He has no air ability at all. It's like, that seems completely confusing. But when you play characters that are really
better
interesting,
in Ultimate than he was in 4.
Sure, but when you play characters that are really interesting, like Min and Steve, I think you have like a really fun time.
I thought it was interesting also that like K. Rool has like this armor that he has whenever he's attacking, and then it breaks, so he has like a second health bar.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Joker,
not quite as
I think
unique.
Joker and Banjo are also super interesting in their little interesting quirks that they have.
Heroes command menu is like
Very
one of the
distinct.
most like
But that's kind of the problem with Smash Bros is that everybody's very
counts.
distinct.
But with some
Not
very
that
limited
many, though.
very limited exceptions, I think you were pretty much spot on with Min being the one that doesn't even play like the rest.
No.
Like
Yeah,
her like up smash is actually more of a reflector than it is
you're
made
not
for
gonna
like
hit anybody with it.
and then like you said, she does special attacks in the air and she can move while attacking, and it's like it's very, very interesting.
She's the only character I can think of if you're like, you can jump in the air, charge a smash attack, and launch your smash attack in the air.
Yeah.
She doesn't have like a traditional moveset.
She's the only one that you can charge your special attacks for as well.
Her special attack charges like a smash
Her
attack.
special, her special attacks are just
Samus can
smash
charge
attacks.
her.
I mean, there's a lot of here's the thing. There's a lot of
Time
Actually, Samus
kind
has
of point.
well, no, Samus has 2 specials. She has charge and fire.
Oh, true.
Because you push charge, she'll charge
not a
all the
smash
way up,
attack,
and then
yeah.
she'll stop. So
Right.
she actually has to.
Smash Brothers has a lot of special characters, but Smash Brothers creates a lot of special people. They're called sex criminals.
Yeah, it does.
That's a special variety of human.
You guys promised we wouldn't
All right.
talk about Smash professionals.
I'm
on
sorry,
this
I'm sorry.
podcast.
Can I throw out one out of the box?
Go for
Give
it.
us one more.
Right out the box.
Venice in Sid Meier's Civilization 5.
Oh,
Because
Yes,
all of the
yeah,
other
the Doge of
civilizations
Venice.
can create settlers.
Mhm.
Venice cannot. The only way that you can acquire more cities is either through war or by
Purchasing,
getting great merchants and
Mhm.
sending the great merchants to city-states
Yeah.
and buying.
Is that
the
because
city-states.
Venetians are just the most sexless people on the planet? They can't
Correct,
make any
yes.
more of them.
Well, and it's
is Venice
interesting.
just worse than it's just hard mode?
It is pretty hard, but it's a lot of RNG because I mean the placement of city states and what natural resources are within their borders is not determined. It's not like there's a set map, right?
Yeah.
And so like sometimes you'll do a playthrough because playing as Venice is super fun. I should say
Yeah.
it is challenging, but it's super fun.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll be right next to a city state that has like tons of great resources in its proximity.
Yeah.
You know your border is going to grow and you can buy tiles to get it. And you're like, this is perfect. Other times you'll start up and you'll be not very close to a city state for starters. You'll not have a very legendary start as far as your own resources. So that's going to hurt you economically.
Yeah.
And you have to fight tooth and nail to keep up with like Mongolia. Right?
Yeah.
Because Mongolia is going to take
Yeah.
those city states if you don't really work it, to get them.
Venice can be like good and bad. Like it can be easy or it
Sure.
can be, just depends on the circumstances.
And also, it's also a skill issue because I got to be honest. Like, if you play as Venice like a ton, there are players that do Venice runs and they're
really good at it.
incredible.
That's any class though.
One that made me
fun fact
think
about
of it-
Civilization, real quick. The one that we had on computer. That when I was a child,
Good too.
they're all
No.
computer games.
when
What do you
I was a
mean?
child,
I know the one he's talking
the
about.
2D one. That was the first time I heard the French national anthem, and I got invaded by the French so often. And every time the French guy pops up, it plays like a little meaty, like bum ba bum bum bum,
Okay.
bum, like that. To the point where when I heard the real French national anthem in my little kid brain, I literally went, "Why are they playing the bad guy music from Civilization in this United
You're
Nation?"
like, oh god, I'm getting invaded.
These are the enemies of civilization,
Yes.
and also
it.
what some other people have said about the French at times.
Yeah.
Devin for real said, "I can't believe they made France from Civilization real."
You did.
This is
Actually,
terrible.
I think it was the opening of All You Need Is Love where they play the French national anthem. I was like, why is it? There's a Beatles song and it's the bad guys from
Harrison, do we have enough time for a second
Incredible.
topic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Real
Chance?
quick, I wanted to say one that
Go.
only
Give us
Ty
one.
would get.
Okay.
Well, no, Devin, you would get it too.
Let's hear it.
So, but no, Quinn, you wouldn't get it.
No, I don't.
Harrison, you would get. No, is Ultron from
Yes.
from Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
A healer
Yeah, exactly
who
what you mean.
doesn't direct target heal in any way. Just
No.
throws a little orb on people, lets it do the work for them, goes around shooting people.
Yeah,
He's very different.
I get killed by Ultron so often because I'll be like, "Oh, a little healer, I can take him. You can't take him."
He's tough. He's tough. He's a little squishy,
Yeah.
but his damage is pretty good. And it's interesting to play a healer where it's more about just knowing where everyone's at than it is about actively healing them, like clicking on them to heal them.
You have to like stay near them. And
Gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you're just timing your shield boost, and you're just making sure that your drone stays on the right player.
Yeah.
That's really different for that kind of game. Like
It'd
there isn't an
be funny
Overwatch
if you lined
comparison.
up all the healers
Yeah,
and you were like, you pointed at Jeff the Shark and you were like, he's more of a traditional healer than Ultron. is.
Yeah. No,
Harrison,
Kinda.
dip your sensuous claw into the topic bag and get us a
I
topic.
made my topic papers too tiny and they're gonna be the last ones. Like
That might be to your
they're
advantage.
gonna fall to the bottom. But then at the end of the topic, I'm just going to.
I think Harrison's meaty claw will be able to do
All
it.
right,
All right,
what do you
this,
got?
This may be a short one, but this is from Quintin.
Of course.
Death Stranding 2 has less male nudity. Why do you think Kojima has betrayed me?
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Why do you think Hideo Kojima is betrayed? You don't see
Because
Sam.
you're deeply closeted straight.
Yeah.
He found out
He
that I was a
found out
deeply
that you're straight, and he's like,
closeted
"I gotta ruin
straight
it."
man. Well,
true.
here's the thing. When you shower now in the game, in the
Okay.
first game you saw it all, right?
Not all.
And the mods Quinn had you do.
When I
Oh.
when I close my
Oh.
eyes, I would imagine it and see it all in
See.
detail,
You can
right?
still do that.
Talking
if you
every
want to. I
every
don't
freckle,
know
but they
why.
gave
Yeah.
me enough. They gave me enough of a tease,
Okay.
right?
Right.
You know,
Okay.
in the new
Probably.
game, when you shower, you don't see anything.
Oh.
You don't see anything. Maybe some bare feet, but you don't see anything. You don't see any of the goods back there. Okay.
I might want to play Death Stranding.
It is shameful.
Okay. Right.
You see him naked like one time, and it's very brief, and it
Does he at
upset me
least
and
rip
hurt me.
his toenail off?
No, that doesn't. I've never had that happen in this game, so I don't even know if that's
Did you
still.
have that
Like,
happen
I don't
in
know
the
if that's
original?
still a mechanic. Yeah, I did that once.
Oh,
yeah,
that's disgusting.
my shoes broke, and anyways. But the point is, it was really. I loved that. And especially because he just like casually throws it in the trash. The whole nail. Anyways,
And what else can you do?
there's less male nudity. There's less female nudity. I took this like Indian man to a hot spring, right? When I was transporting him to a location, and before you could swim with like if you took like a guy, and you had to transport him, you could take him, and then there was another level of male nudity because you'd be with a person, right?
Right.
In this, he was just drowning. He just started drowning while I was bathing. He fell under the water. He was still in a body bag. Bubbles were coming up. I wanted to see that Indian guy naked.
Okay.
And it didn't happen. I just drowned an Indian
think-
man. It was like water torture
I can-
until I got out.
What's your theory?
No,
Tyler?
I can
Why
answer
did,
this.
why did
Hey,
Kojima
Betray because
did he betray
Kojima
me?
told you he was going to. He said, "Betray your audience, you fool! You're the audience."
You got.
He said it
Trump.
years ago.
That is a
You got.
quote.
He
that is
told
a literal
you.
Kojima quote.
He told you he was going to do this, and you didn't think he'd do it, but he did.
and that's the trouble.
Actually, you know what it
Yeah.
is? I'm going along. I'm attaching my point to Ty's point. He did it because he loves you, Quin.
Right.
He knew that you were going down.
He
this
did it for the
path.
same reason your father beat you.
Yes.
All right.
Right. Because he knew that I was a closeted straight man, and he just was like,
Yeah.
I've got to get it out of him.
No,
Right.
but he was like, I gave Quentin too much of this last time,
Right.
and now Quentin's life is going nowhere.
Yeah.
And
I need to figure this out.
Here's what I think.
Need to
Kojima
let
is
him move
concerned about me
on.
becoming dehydrated. He was like,
Yeah.
this guy
Yes.
doesn't drink
No,
enough water. I
here's what
can't
it is.
have
Here's
male
what it is.
nudity.
So there is this strategy for releasing animals into the wild, right?
Mhm.
Where you
I already
take
love this.
the pheromones
Okay.
of their other animals like them. You know,
Mhm.
if they are, social animals, it can be just any
This is
pheromones,
the
right?
best illustration.
Or if it's like, the more
I
solitary,
don't
you
even know
take
how
like
it ends.
Mhm.
pheromones from the opposite
Pretty
sex,
good,
right?
Okay.
And then you introduce those pheromones to them in like a concentrated amount, right?
Right.
And then you introduce it in less and
Mhm.
less and less, and then you open the gates to where they're at, and then you introduce just barely, and then almost none.
Right.
And then somewhere out there, they will smell those pheromones and they will go, oh, wait a minute. I don't belong in captivity. I'm a beast of the wild and my kind are out there, and they'll leave.
And
He
get
showed you ass. And he was like, hey, this is male nudity.
Yeah.
And then he was like,
Taking it back.
now wait a minute.
Not so
You
much.
have to leave the enclosure.
He's trying to get you to go outside.
He wants you to talk to humans.
Yeah,
That's what he wants you to do.
God, man,
He wants you to go talk to humans.
I like how the three of us, his older brothers, all projected on Kojima that someone's worried about.
Someone's trying. We're all trying.
real worried.
Someone's really worried about
for
you,
one reason or
Quin.
another.
Yeah.
He's on the.
We're like when Kojima is worried about
Deeply
you.
concerned.
Ethan's like, you need. I mean, Kojima is saying that you need to go meet men in real life,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
so on and
Quintin
so forth.
is Quintin is our autistic nephew who's obsessed with Chucky from Chuck E. Cheese, and we have to talk to him that like, listen, Chucky wants you to go outside.
That's right.
You gotta
Chucky wants you to go to school today.
You got to put the Chucky mask on and call me on Zoom, right? Say, Chucky wants you.
Yeah.
Chucky wants you to clean up the
Yeah.
dishes.
Yeah.
So we're glad we could
exactly.
answer this
Yeah, we're
question.
glad
for
we could
you.
answer that for you. Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna you gotta get out there and talk to people.
I mean, it
talk.
broke my heart.
I really hope we have time for another topic.
Oh, we do.
Harrison.
We
We do.
Sliding
Yeah,
the
sure.
door
All
out.
right, another dip
Be
your.
free.
Wait, we did meaty and sensuous. Dip your filthy, dirty,
Ooh.
L fanning foot claw into the topic bag. Let's see what it is.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, no.
Let's see.
Grabbing a random one.
I feel like Harrison pulls out a lot of like. Yeah.
It's from me.
A Harrison one. Let's hear it.
Throw it away.
You know what's funny is I was actually just thinking about this question like just now.
Nice.
This
How
definitely isn't rigged.
convenient.
Serendipitous.
If you could point to one particular game that changed everything, what game and why?
That
changed everything?
How much time do we have?
This is.
Yeah,
we have
that's-
20 minutes.
Yeah, that's a
I
lot.
mean,
of stuff.
this is easy. This is easy. Everybody always thinks Shigeru Miyamoto is like his biggest contribution to video games is like making the original Mario.
Sure.
That is not correct.
Okay.
Shigeru Miyamoto's biggest contribution to gaming was when he made Mario 64 because
I agree.
nobody had any idea how to make a character move in like a 3D environment well.
They were doing it
always
real
like
bad.
locked behind him
Yeah.
or they
Controls.
were and he's like, no, the camera is a little man and you control him
Yeah.
with buttons. And he kind of created the way every 3D video game owes at least something to Mario 64 in so far as how do you move a character in 3D space.
Right.
And he started it in Mario 64 and he perfected it in Ocarina of Time. But if you want to know, like, I don't know between which of those actually changed the industry, which of those people like saw and went that thing.
It's both. It's
But
both.
it's- but
they
it's
play both.
plenty of both.
True, but
I think it was
most
that they played
developers
both, yeah.
saw Mario 64 and went, "We got a course correct."
I think
Like,
I think
Rayman
it's a
2
combination.
had-
I think it's a
Ray-
combination because they when they see this Zelda, they go, "That wasn't a fluke." They're like, Mario
Oh,
wasn't
fair.
just.
Yeah.
It's
Fair.
not just Mario. You can do it with an adventure.
Like how many
game.
games have
You
a
can do it
how
with
many
racing
games
game.
where you fight with a sword or your fists do you have a lock on? I don't know
No,
of a game
true.
before Zelda
True.
that did that lock on where you strafe when locked on, but then
Yeah.
you don't when you're running around. Like
Yeah.
that was a whole new thing. So that Mario 64, that's the game that changed
I
everything.
mean, Metal Gear Solid
Yeah.
2 changed everything about me.
oh,
That
Okay.
actually is
All
my
right.
question. We're talking about the industry or ourselves?
He just said everything.
whichever
Just,
one.
just
Yeah.
anything.
Metal Gear Solid 2 changed everything about me.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Right. That
because
makes a lot
okay,
of
so
sense.
you have
Male
you know,
nudity.
I don't know if you
You have male
Correct.
nudity is what you
I
have
don't
in that
know
game.
if I have. I'm gonna have to send this to whoever's editing this so they can put it up on the screen.
No one.
But have you? I don't. Is there no one edits these? Have you ever seen Hideo Kojima? Who he was talking to some magazine. He like very confusingly he started talking about how he demanded that they kept making Snake's butt bigger in Metal Gear Solid 2, and he said it was because a lot of mothers and boys like his games. No, not even that. He said it's because his wife is a mother and his son is a boy. And that was his answer to like why he was like he kept demanding that
Larger posterior.
that he needed a bigger butt, right?
Okay. That changed you.
Everything about that should explain to you that as a boy,
Right.
he was right. I realized that Kojima knew me at that point. Right?
Got you.
Yeah.
And-
That game
and-
did make me.
As a mother.
As a mother, Kojima knew me.
While
at
playing
point.
that game, I did see something, and I paused the game. And for the next 2 weeks, I literally asked everyone who knows anything about Metal Gear Solid
Mhm.
what the hell they were talking about. I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Right.
the vampire guy named Vamp, right?
He's-
Because he's a vampire.
It's because he's bisexual.
That's not
It's
why
not.
he's named
And
it.
Well,
I got that
and that-
scene, and I went and said, "What is this? This
That-
is not.
well,
what
that-
is he talking
well,
about?"
That's the thing is
And
it's
I
like
asked
okay,
literally
you've
everyone.
got a little nerdy twink named Otacon, all right, for
Okay.
otaku convention.
Right.
You've got Solid Snake, who, as
Who
we
is
know,
solid.
who is rock solid,
He's
and
solid.
he makes my snake
But
solid.
he's not a
Yeah.
snake.
Okay,
He
you've
is-
got Raiden, who's a wide-hipped T girl. Okay,
You got Pliskin, who always knows what's going on.
Pliskin, who's
Has no questions.
He's the smart.
Yeah.
He's the smart guy. He doesn't
Sounds
have any
vaguely
questions.
familiar.
He has no questions.
Yeah, a little bit.
I feel like yeah.
And then
misunderstanding.
you've got a bunch of kind of oddballs, and it basically is Kojima saying like, you know what? Are you a pervert? We've got you covered. Okay, you've got Fat Man. He's fat and scary, and he wants to
Named him
blow
for a
things
bomb?
up, and he
He
rides
drinks
on roller skates, and he
wine
drinks
out of
wine out of with a
margarita.
straw,
out of a margarita glass.
out of a margarita glass, and
Yes.
he drinks it out of a straw.
Well, you picked
So on and so forth, and I just kind of look at that.
Right.
Excuse me. I kind of look at that and I'm like,
Okay.
how does that not change everything for a person when you're exposed to that at age
very,
like,
very
12, right?
Well, most
Very
of us
easily.
weren't.
When you're exposed to
The
that at
game
like
is
age
18
12,
plus.
when you're exposed to that around age 12, it
Right.
really just it
Yeah.
does certain things.
Guys, this is a PSA actually,
Our
guys.
parents were really
don't
lax
let
when
your kids
Quin-
play Metal Gear Solid 2 or else.
or else.
Yeah.
Or
Ty,
else.
what
Won't
was
go well with
yours? You,
Mario
Ty
64.
said
you
Mario
said Mario
64,
64.
yeah.
So what does that leave you with, Devin?
He doesn't have one.
Well, I mean, Ty is just objectively right. So I can piggyback and talk about Ocarina of Time, or I can change it to myself.
Oh.
What was the biggest impact on me? It's also Mario 64.
Oh,
so no, I'm just kidding. No, but what I will say though is that to piggyback on Ty's point, it's hard to describe to modern players the idea of just like the control stick is your character. If you just pull back on the control stick, the character just starts
That's
going
not how it worked
that direction.
before then.
Because people are like, well, that's such an obvious thing, but it wasn't obvious because
Right.
if you think about it, in the real world, nothing that you control in the real world works that way. Your car doesn't work that way. Like when a pilot flies an airplane, it doesn't
the
work
yoke
that
on
way.
an airplane doesn't work that
So
way.
when developers were thinking of how to control a character, tank controls were born out of the idea of like an RC car, where like pushing forward moves your character forward, but then to pivot, you use like shoulder buttons to pivot the character.
Yeah.
From a purely just logical standpoint, that made sense. Miyamoto was thinking in terms of he compared Mario's movement to a hamster. His kids had a hamster at the time, and they would put it in a ball and it would move around the environment. And like he saw how it like rolled across the floor and then would stop and then roll back the other direction, and how like it felt like he could go anywhere, but he wasn't moving naturally. That's not how a hamster naturally moves. He's having to roll the ball in different directions. And that's when he thought of it, he was like, I don't need to approach Mario's movements naturally. I need to make him able to go anywhere and let the player be able to put him anywhere. Like, we haven't moved on from that.
Yeah,
There's
it
not
was
some
I
big
played,
control scheme that we're
I played
using.
Turok, Dinosaur Hunter
Yeah.
1 and 2 recently,
Yeah.
and those games, the controls are so weird.
So weird.
You know? And then I played Mario 64, and I was like, oh man, like Mario 64, moving around is still easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Turok Dinosaur Hunter is like, we've just figured out
Yeah,
better ways.
awkward.
You know,
Yeah.
like, but Mario, I'm like, this plays kind of like Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
say, actually, Hideo Kojima has changed the gaming landscape like a dozen times
Huge,
already, given
yeah,
that
yeah.
he invented the stealth genre, and now that's like a very popular
Stealth,
genre.
but also
so-
like you can have a game that feels more like a movie, which is what I would argue
Yeah.
most of the industry outside of Nintendo
has
is
pivoted
now.
to.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
But for me, the game that kind of changed everything in the industry, since we'll keep it in that box, and that seems to be
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
how everyone's talking about it, is Breath of the Wild.
Mhm.
Huge,
I
Yeah.
feel like
Huge.
we had, Skyward Sword comes out, and right alongside it comes Skyrim.
Yeah.
And Skyrim is great, but man, it's dumb. Man, it's real dumb. It's fun, super cool, dumb as a brick.
And
you're just shouting at people.
And
the game just glitches out constantly.
To a lesser degree,
Bethesda game.
Skyrim did accomplish the same thing as Breath of the Wild, where there was like 1 million Skyrim clones.
Oh, true.
But the difference is that Breath of the Wild, there was 1 billion Breath of the Wild clones.
Genshin Impact would not
Breath of
exist
the Wild
without
comes
Breath of the Wild.
along, and what it does is there's just this moment where if you're on, when you're first playing Breath of the Wild, I feel like there is a moment where you just go, oh, nothing is going to be the same after this.
Yeah,
you just go,
I agree.
oh, man. You look out there and you see
I was on the
Death
Great
Mountain.
Plateau. The Great Plateau when I was like, everything's going to be this.
On the Great
right.
Plateau, I was running. It was after the first shrine, and I'm running to the second one, and I look over at Death Mountain, and I can see the big lizard one, Va Rudania, just moving around the shadow of it, moving around the volcano, and I go, nothing's ever going to be the same. Nintendo did this.
Yeah.
This isn't some other thing. And what happened after that was everyone trying to be an open world game before Breath of the Wild was, here's how you do it. You have RPG mechanics. You have like full voice acting and be big inventory management games. And you have it be this and this and this. Basically just Skyrim. Every time, just Skyrim.
Yeah.
And then Breath of the Wild comes along. And man, after that, they're like, there just isn't a genre you can't make open world. And suddenly, the floodgates are open. We're off to the races. And the idea of making open world games that are both beautiful and like from genres you wouldn't expect. Yeah. They're just everywhere after that. And they all do have this moment where you just go, like I've talked about the game Enshrouded a lot on that game wouldn't exist without Breath of the Wild, because you get to it and you go like, oh yeah, they played Breath of the Wild and they go, why can't you have a survival crafter where that looks like Breath of the Wild? They had already mastered voxels, and they were like, we could do this. They wouldn't do that if Breath of the Wild didn't come along and say, you can have an adventure game with less emphasis on RPG mechanics, but still have the same depth of world.
To your point, that's such a good example you use of Skyward Sword and Skyrim. When those two games came out side by side at the time, that was what we thought of. We were like, okay, you can either have a game like Skyward Sword that is like tight gameplay in a tactile world. Like everything you do in Skyward Sword, you can interact with the environment. The gameplay is super refined. You have to think about each interaction. Or you can have, but the game is very limited. You're in these little areas. You can't just go wherever you want to. Skyrim, you could go wherever you want to, but it is not a tactile world. Like, horses are going to get stuck on environments, and like you're going to click your enemies to death, and it's about menus and operating that's because the world's too big. They can't make it tactile and tight.
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild,
to be clear, the gameplay is so much worse than Oblivion's.
So much
worse. The magic system in Skyrim is so bad, where you can't dual wield a sword and use the magic.
And
at
it
the same
had
time.
to rely on the fact that, whether this is not about liking it or not liking it. Like, Skyward Sword's combat is infinitely more in-depth and complicated than Skyrim's, where you can literally just click and like the enemy will die.
It's also less fun.
It's also
than Skyrim's. It's less fun. So that's because no one liked Skyward Sword.
Right, no one likes that. But to your point, I loved it. But to your point, Ethan, Breath of the Wild
what do you expect?
Was a tactile world with tight gameplay that was bigger than Skyrim's world.
Yeah, the sword and shield, the great sword, the spear, they all play differently.
I'll say that.
Whereas like in Skyrim, like there was this idea of like, oh, it's just going to be the speed. Great sword's going to swing slow, and a little knife is going to swing fast. But it's all just speed and like a little bit of like length of the weapon.
Yeah,
but then Skyrim Breath of the Wild comes along, and it's like, no, what if it was like the Mario 64, where it's like, you just can swing in whatever direction you want, and great swords have this big wide swing. Sword and shield has this like fast different move set,
or just roll a rock down the hill and kill all of
that Breath of the Wild changed everything. However, that was the worst thing that has ever happened to video games, and it will never be good again. Everything
I would have to sit down and tally it out, because I tend to be in a little bit of a similar boat in that I feel like Breath of the Wild a lot of people learned the wrong lessons from Breath of the Wild.
No one did it as
Oh,
good.
no,
But
I think that-
there have been some really great gyms where people were really inspired by
I
it.
think
So
Breath
I think
of
it's
the
it's a
Wild-
mixed bag of good and bad.
I think Breath of the Wild's like the nuclear bombs.
Oh, dear.
They did it 2 times, right? And they should have stopped, right, at 2, as far as Breath of the Wild style games go, right?
I would
and
hate
then
to-
they proceeded to do it again and again and again, and they're never going to do anything but Breath of the Wild, okay? Mark my words, okay?
Wait, they've only done it twice.
No, I'm
I
not
think
talking about just Nintendo.
No, I think
I'm
he means
talking
like
about the video gaming
Genshin
industry.
Impact and what's
I
that?
see
What's
what you're saying.
Ubisoft's one?
There's-
Phoenix Rising or whatever.
There's 10 million
Yeah,
games.
that's true.
And mark my words, it's never going to stop.
It'll
It's
never
never going to stop because
It'll
both
never
of
stop.
those games
I think-
have done so like
But
what were the sales on Tears of the Kingdom? They were very good.
They were
right?
insane.
They were good.
They were
like
insane.
22 million or something.
So they're never going to stop riding that
Here's
wave.
what I think you can see the Breath of the Wild's impact very clearly. Is the game Red Dead Redemption and the game Red Dead Redemption 2. Those came out before and then after Breath of the Wild. And the difference in the way those games approach their worlds is the lessons learned from Breath of the Wild. Whereas in Red Dead Redemption, it's very Skyrim-esque in that there are like points of interest and then areas
or
that
like
are not
GTA more accurate.
the areas that are not points of interest. And then like Red Dead 2, the points of interest are everything is a point of interest.
Right.
Things can happen kind of dynamically, and they, instead of giving you objectives, there are a few, but for the most part, they put these visual cues in the landscape to naturally draw you off the path and to your objective. Those are all things that like I associate very much with Breath of the Wild,
Which is a great example of its positive impact.
That's
not a
I
clone.
mean- They learned the
right
Red Dead
lesson.
Redemption 2 is not a clone.
It's
of Breath of
obviously
the
not a
Wild.
clone of Breath of
Right.
the Wild.
No.
There's just the
Harrison,
lessons
what-
learned.
what
Elden
game
Ring
is
is very
Yeah.
similar.
Well, I had written the question because I had just finished Deltarune,
Oh, okay.
and I think that so it's not so much what game has changed. What was the question again?
Had the
Right.
biggest impact or
You could point to one particular game that changed everything.
changed everything.
I think it's going to be a game that's going to change how like
Interesting.
the indie space, how they do games. Because like Undertale, like if you remember when Undertale came out,
Mhm.
like there were a lot of
remember
games
I
that
was
were
there.
kind of like trying to do Undertale.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
There still
Sure.
are.
And
Yeah, well, again, I saying the same thing. Undertale, like Breath of the Wild, has done irreparable damage, and nothing will ever be good again.
yeah.
But continue.
I don't think Deltarune is going to change like how indie games. I mean, there will probably be people who try to emulate the like game
Yeah.
play. I think what Deltarune will change the most is how people approach storytelling.
True. Yeah.
Because how Deltarune has been telling its story, I think has been very unique. I've never really seen any other video game do it. Like you all have said that like you're gonna wait until like the game is done and then you'll play it. But I think that a lot of I think you'll be able to do that and you'll be able to get a pretty good experience. But I think that what will make the game unique is the long periods of time in between chapters.
Sure.
There's stuff that happens outside of the game. They did a sweepstake, like a charity sweepstake thing a couple years ago. There was like ARG elements in that sweepstake that have impacted the story in the newest chapters.
Oh, cool.
So it's like crazy.
Mhm.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Is a similar argument to like why me and my wife Rachel were talking about how like I actually like when a new show comes out. We watched the show Severance. I liked that I had to wait a week for the episode because it gave me a chance to like talk to people who had seen it
Yeah.
and like
Process it a little bit.
process it. It's like binge shows are harder
yeah.
because like when Stranger Things comes out, some people have the circumstance to sit and watch the whole thing. I have like I can watch one episode and then like it's weird because I can't talk to my friends about it because they've binged it.
I'm gonna
yeah.
date myself a little bit, but
Yeah.
do you
Who
all
else will you
remember?
date?
should.
Oh, there we go.
hanging
Do
fruit,
you all
yeah.
remember
Uh-huh.
when Lost came out?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
I'm
like
old.
that was one of the that was one of the great experiences of Lost was like
Yeah.
watching an episode, going into work or school the next day and talking with your friends about like
Yeah, big
what does
time.
this mean, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with Deltarune is that like the chapters are coming out and people are like, what does this mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
you remember Gravity Falls?
Yes, of course.
Another similar experience.
yeah, we
There
remember
were-
a lot of things.
Yeah.
we do. We
Harrison just keeps going. Do you guys remember this thing that
You-
we
and,
did
and you remember the
together?
X-Files.
Yeah.
And also you remember the Kennedy assassination? It
There's an
changed
audience,
everything.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's-
yeah.
There are presumably
Yeah.
people on YouTube that are going to be watching
Yeah,
this.
of course.
okay?
Oh, right. I
Yeah,
forgot.
right.
There's a camera.
I hope. I need Patreon money.
But that's sort of similar to like Deltarune right now. Like there's a lot of theory crafting.
Yeah.
I have a whole presentation about like how the game's code is telling stuff about the story. Like people who are data mining.
That's
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah. Which
okay.
Ethan talked about that with Elden Ring. Undertale did first, whatever.
I'm not
I mean,
in love
Dark
with that
Souls
element,
did it
actually.
first.
I'm not in love with
Actually.
that element mostly. It's very similar when I watch
The chapter release thing.
No, not the chapter release thing where there's a great deal of like the story is fine in a lot of things. But they're really great, people tell me, if you read the additional material. Well, you've
I
got to
see what
read
you're
the
saying,
tie-in
yeah.
comic, or you've got to check this board.
No, I get
or,
what you
or
mean.
you've got to look at
Yeah.
the tie-in website
Sure.
to make this new Cloverfield movie tolerable, right? And I'm like, no, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
And the problem I have with a lot of these is I'm like, I believe everything you're saying. I bet all of that is really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm never reading any of it. I'm never Googling this ARG. I'm never going to do it. Toby Fox should go to prison. Okay, I everything you're saying is fine, but he should be in prison.
You don't mind the gaps between though. Like
no, I don't
release
care. I
schedule
know
and
I'm not
stuff
going to
and
buy
chapters,
it. I'm not going to buy it until it's
Well,
all
Harrison,
the way
maybe
out,
I will
but-
buy it. Maybe
but-
I'll buy it so we can talk about the chapters. How's
But
that
I'll
sound?
play it with Harrison
Yes.
on this channel.
Yeah.
I'll
whenever
close
he
out the
asks.
topic with a game that changed everything for me: Super Mario Sunshine.
I knew you were
I
going to say
saw
that.
on the box
yeah.
art that there was an evil Mario,
Mhm.
and Mario gets blamed because he looks similar
Right.
to evil Mario.
You
And what that
related to
taught
that.
me,
The story
what that
of
taught
Pinocchio,
me,
yes.
is that some people
Story of Sonic
will
Adventure
blame you for things, even though it's actually the little imp that looks kind of like you's fault. And I was like,
No one here looks
that,
like you.
That's what it is.
Shadow Mario.
You
That's what
are
it is.
Mario.
But
Shadow
Devin,
Mario doesn't.
there is a normal person walking around who looks exactly like you, and they are getting blamed for everything that you have been doing.
Thank you.
know,
exactly.
Here's what's
right.
amazing.
You're the
people
little
that you
Right.
are Shadow
people
Mario.
always complain about Sonic Adventure 2 where they're like, how could they possibly have mistaken Shadow? He's a hedgehog who has a different pattern. And then they forget that in Mario Sunshine, there's a guy who's a horrifying void with red eyes, and they were like, that's Mario.
That's Mario.
That's Mario.
It didn't look anything
To
like
be
Mario.
fair, they
famous
had
menace.
never met Mario, and he looks more like
His-
Mario than most
his-
things
his
in this
wanted
world.
poster
Actually,
is
he's
a
blue,
void
like-
with red eyes.
Like the Piantas, like he's actually blue, like they are, so he looks less like
Yeah.
Mario. He looks more
True.
like one of the Islanders.
True.
I mean, how can you have a mug shot that doesn't look like the guy and you're like, that's him? This is like racist America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
reverse.
the Piantas are
Reverse.
American cops.
Reverse, because they see a black dude and then they punish a white dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's this
Yeah.
twisted
Yeah.
world.
I'm really glad that we're ending the podcast.
Yeah,
I love
We're
ending on that
ending the
note.
podcast now.
This is the
We're
last
ending the
episode.
podcast. Guys, thank you for being here. If you're still
Yeah,
here,
subscribe.
What game changed everything for you? Tell us in the
That's
comments.
Subscribe
We
to
wanna
our
know.
channel.
Thanks for being
Get in
here.
the comments and just tell Quinn to replay Death
Yeah, just
Stranding 2
replay
and
it.
live stream it.
Just
Get in
replay
the
it.
comments and just get real weird.
Here's
Get
a
real
okay.
weird with Quintin.
Encourage
No,
me
guys,
about,
we're really
hold
close.
on. Encourage
Oh.
me about Death Stranding by putting a French flag and a gun pointed at it. Okay, because there's a dead
Maybe-
French woman.
yeah, maybe
in the,
don't do
in the
that.
game. And I,
No,
you know.
guys, we're getting real close to episode 50.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
And on episode 50, we're going to talk about video games, and we're going to welcome people to the Power Up Brothers podcast.
Wow,
And,
look at
yeah.
that. And a question, Is that counting
changing
the
it all
episodes
up.
that never got released?
It is, yeah, always, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Not
Fantastic.
Are
have
we
yet
planning-
to be released.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Have
Yeah.
yet to
Patreon,
be
Patreon,
released.
Patreon. Are we
They
planning on having
exist.
any special guests or doing a special segment or having fireworks or something
Yeah.
fun?
Yeah,
Or a sweepstake.
we'll finally get someone in this chair who's
Right.
actually worth listening
Yeah,
to.
who
We
plays
promise,
video
we
games.
promise. Guys, thank you for
Perfect.
being here. See you next week.
Goodbye.
Next week.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
Be gone with you. I don't want you.